Well, we're stuck in West Virginia, Beckley, West Virginia. Last night coming up I-77, we went through a toll booth, and when passing through the toll booth, all of a sudden, I started hearing a blowing noise or a sucking noise, depending on what it sounded like to you. But it was definitely a blowing noise. So took only a few seconds, and then I started getting an service engine light. And what was interesting is that above, if there was any type of grade, my power was degraded massively. I mean, we could not climb a hill greater than 20 miles an hour. So we finally got over here in Beckley to a parking lot and looked at the code on the scan, and it was a P0299, which is exactly what I assumed it was going to be, something to do with the turbo. So here we are stuck in West Virginia. We're going to see if we can fix this issue with Oliver. The first thing I'm going to check is to make sure that nothing has slipped on the like the resonator or something like that. So it's fairly easy to remove. Pop those. Disconnect the intake hose. Then just lift it and pull it forward. Okay, the first thing I'm going to look at is the resonator. You can see right here, make sure this is a good seal. That's a good seal. And everything there looks fine. Nothing's loose. So we're going to have to go up underneath the vehicle.
This hose right here, when I rotate it, you'll see that it is kind of a bubble and it's leaking. This is the hose that goes up to the intercooler. So I'm gonna have to pull the intercooler hose off, and I'm in Beckley, West Virginia, so I don't know if I can get parts. I might have to figure out a way to repair the intercooler hose. I'll show it to you once I get it out. All right, I got the hose out, and as you can see right there, that is the vacuum leak that we're getting. So, it just has pulled out. So, let me see if I can find an auto parts store that might have a part. I'm assuming that that Napa, I found a Napa Auto Parts. It's just a little bit from here. I'm assuming they're not going to have this. So while I wait for them to open, I'm going to try to take the screwdriver and I'm going to see if I can work the hose back underneath it. There's a Lowe's right here, maybe with some adhesive and duct tape. I might be able to get this to where we can at least get home until we can get to Mercedes. So let me work on this. Well, surprisingly, I was able to work that back in, which means it's not going to hold at all. But I'm going to clean this thing up and go ahead and put some adhesive on it and see what, see if it's possible that I can get this thing somewhat together to get home. Yeah, unfortunately, there was no, the Napa Auto Parts didn't have any parts for this. So we're gonna have to try to fix this. But one thing I wanted to show was when this clamp was a bear to try to figure out. So the way that I did it is I took a screwdriver underneath one, a second screwdriver underneath the other, which then basically pulls these back. But then you still had this one last tab. So by putting a screwdriver underneath one side and putting a screwdriver underneath the other side, I was able to take a pair of pliers and pull this. And once I pulled it, it just dropped straight down. So I don't know how you're supposed to do it, but 2 screwdrivers and a pair of pliers and it came down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can work this a little further into the collar. I stopped at Lowe's, got some Gorilla Glue. I'm going to put some adhesive across it. Then I'm going to put some basically duct tape, Gorilla tape around it. And then I also bought a 3-inch clamp, or a 2-inch clamp, or 3-inch clamp. And I'm going to put the clamp on, and not, you know, if I put a clamp and clamp here, it's going to pull this out. But if I put the clamp here, I might be able to keep it to where this can't expand past the clamp. So the clamp, more of a restrictor than actually to hold it. So let me get to work on that and we'll see how it goes. So I got I got the Gorilla Glue gel, just to see if that would do a little bit better. So I'm going to start by filling in the hole there, and hopefully that'll bond that to that hole. And then I'll just work it around. So here's my handiwork, and like I said, I put the clamp on. The top one's just to kind of secure, but then the second one is more of a restrictor so that it cannot bubble and press out. So now it's to crawl back up underneath and install. Okay, installation of that pipe was literally 30 seconds. I mean, it took nothing. Snapped right back on. So, you know, to replace the intercooler hose, it's no more than like a 15-minute job at most if you have the part. So we're going to fire this thing up and see how we go, and hopefully we won't have an air leak. We can get back home and I can either go over to Mercedes and buy the appropriate part, or order it online and have it in a couple days and replace my one that I've put together. So P0299, multiple things it could be, but in my case, I'm pretty sure that it was the intercooler hose that had a little bit of a bubble. So, see if this works. Well, 500 miles later, and we made it home and stopped by Mercedes Benz and picked up a new one. I'm not sure why it was 211 bucks. I found it some other places online. It was like 110, 120. But I went ahead and paid for it because I needed it, and real quick installation, and then we will be done. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments, and thanks for watching.